If you're like 99% of the people in this world, you probably feel stuck because you're not making any progress in your life. And you're most likely just going ahead and you're blaming all of these external factors instead of actually looking inside of yourself and understanding what it is that you need to be changing on a daily basis to get the life that you're looking to achieve or the goals that you're looking to hit. All right. It all starts internally. And there's three main things that I've kind of dialed this down to in order for you to really make a change in your life the same way I have and the same way I need to really remind myself. So first and foremost, I am making this video not just to provide value to you guys, but also for myself is to just remind myself of, why am I doing what I'm doing? I need to remind myself of these three things that I'm about to take you through because it's what's going to make me continue to grow and see more success in my life. So if you are someone who's stuck, you need to understand that number one, you need to get out of your comfort zone. Okay. If you are somebody that's having a super comfortable living situation right now, and you don't feel like a little bit of a fire under your ass, meaning that you need that pressure on you to continue to develop, to continue to grow, then you are going to get comfortable and you're going to get left behind because the other people that you're probably competing with in business or whatever it is that you're doing, they are going to surpass you because they have a level of urgency that you are not possessing because of your current state of comfort. So, what you need to do is put yourself in a state of discomfort. For example, I used to live at home with my parents in their basement. It was a dusty old basement. I mean, it was nice for what it was because, I got to live at home with my family, save some money, all that great stuff. But there was still a comfort level. And then there was like this other part of like living in a dusty basement, sleeping beside a fireplace, low air quality. I used to wake up in the middle of the night just coughing my lungs out. And at this point, I was like, hey, I gotta keep continuing to learn my skills, build my business, and have zero quit. Okay, because I also set a deadline on myself. My parents were going to be moving somewhere far away from where I wanted to be. And I didn't want to go there as much as I love them and everything like that. I was like, I have to get out. I cannot stay here. I have to put myself in a position to succeed. So I worked hard. I started building my business. I started getting some clients. And at that point in time, it was time to move out where I am here in the trench. And I've been building my business ever since, and it's been really good. Now, when I got here, I was now in a state of uncomfort, even more so, because now I have no place to go but forward. There is no going back in my life, right? I do not want to revert back to living with my parents. I know some people do at certain situations, and sure, that happens, of course. For me, I didn't even want to make it an option, right? So I knew that I had to continue to bust my ass and get myself in a place of knowing that I have this sense of urgency every day when I get up to go make more money, build my business, build my skills, build my character, right? Because I wasn't going to go back because now I got rent to pay in this big ass condo that I'm living in. Well, it's not big, but like big maybe on the price tag side of things is what I mean. And from that, I was like, well, okay, now I got this big price tag that I got to pay every month and it's time to go, right? So that is putting myself basically back against the wall, fire under my ass. I'm like, I got to go here. I really got to put myself in a position to succeed. And if I put myself in a position to succeed and maybe, I start to drift off a little bit, I'm going to feel the burn, right? You're going to feel that stuff starts to sting a little bit when you spend money because you're like, oh, fuck, I can't be spending like that. Or I can't afford to eat this type of meal because, I'm going to get in a position where I can't afford my place. And then all this shit starts to spiral downward because you're not focused on the urgency that got you to the place that you are now to get to the next level. So keep this in mind. What got you here, that where you are right now, will not get you to where you want to be. You have to change your habits. You have to change your beliefs. You have to change the way that you operate as a person. It takes a paradigm shift, right? You don't necessarily need another course, okay? You don't necessarily need to consume all these books on a daily basis, right? Just information overload. What you need is to take action on becoming the best person, the best version of yourself, okay? And really what that comes from is just thinking differently. Okay, you need to think differently than everybody else. So in order to do that is point number two, which is you need to change your environment. Okay, so if you are in a room where you're the smartest person, you're striving towards big things, and you're around people that are still partying like you're in high school, doing a bunch of drugs, drinking, it's just this normalcy, especially where I'm from. Like everybody looks at you weird if you don't drink, right? And I stopped drinking, I stopped smoking, I stopped partying, right? I only really party if it's like an occasion with friends or a networking kind of thing, that kind of stuff, right? Or I'm like on a trip and I'm at a mastermind event, stuff like that is different, right? There's a purpose there because I'm in a room with other people who are smarter than me They have more knowledge that I can go ahead and consume and provide value to them, right? Rather than being in a room of people that they're not goal oriented, they're not purposeful, they're kind of just floating through life, waiting to the weekend to get fucked up. And that's kind of what they do, right? There is no purpose. Everything comes with like spending on shit because they're like, oh, well, we're young and, now's the time you have your fun before you lock it in. And now you're just, you're this wife and kids and house that you got to pay for. I didn't want that life. I didn't want that environment, right? I wanted to have freedom. So I need to lock myself away here in my condo in the trench and go to work, build my skills, build my character, build my business, put myself in a place to succeed, put other people in the best position to succeed on my team. And in that way, we're all going to start to win. Now, what I'm doing is I'm stacking wins as we go. You're just continuing to win, 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 win on a daily basis because you're putting yourself in a position, in an environment, like I said, similar to discomfort and comfort, but now you're in an environment where you're going to succeed. Getting around the right people, getting rid of people that are not truly serving you in a transactional manner, right? At the end of the day, people think it might be a little harsh, like, oh, well, you can't just look at relationships as transactional. No, but at the end of the day, you need to provide value, especially if you're a guy. My whole channel is dudes. If you're a guy, you need to be leveling up your value so you can provide it to other people and you will receive the same, right? So you need to be continuing to develop yourself. You're not going to do that by getting hammered at a bar and chasing girls all the time, right? You need to level yourself up, especially if you're in your 20s like myself, even in your 30s, you need to be doing that, right? You need to be constantly leveling up, right? And that comes from putting yourself in an environment to succeed, not that's going to hold you back. Because if you stay around the same people that you were partying with, you were doing just like terrible habits with, right? Waking up late, video games till like 3 a.m., smoking, partying like crazy, like spending a shit ton of money on shit that doesn't matter, eating like shit, eating out of McDonald's, all that crap, you will get consumed back into that environment instead of releasing, separating yourself. I'm not saying you never have to talk to those people ever again. What I'm saying is you have to associate yourself with new people that can teach you new things, right? And you can learn and grow together. So I was able to find people when I moved out here on my own. I was able to find people in the space that were doing what I wanted to do. They were doing big things. They built businesses. They were young in their 20s as well. So I was like, these are guys that I want to be surrounded by. These are guys that I need to learn from in order to get better, right? And the more that you start to consume that knowledge, instead of consuming TikTok all day or scrolling on your fucking phone like nonstop like a zombie, what you're doing is you're getting around the right people that are going to teach you exactly what it is that needs to be done to get to the level that you desire to be at. All right. So environment, super key. All right. Keep that in mind. The third thing is kind of goes hand in hand, and I kind of touched on it a few times there, is knowledge, right? The knowledge that you're consuming. Now, I mentioned earlier in this video is you don't have to always be consuming books and courses, right? And what I mean that is because there's people that get into this like perpetual cycle where they're like, I just think I'm going to find the answer in this course or this book, and like if I just keep paying for courses, eventually I'll find the knowledge and the magic secret formula that everybody has to get successful is going to be in one of those courses. And they're called course hoppers. They're the worst people to deal with, right? Because they blame everything else on everybody else except themselves, right? They think it's the course's fault. They think it's the mentor's fault. They think it's the service provider's fault. They do not look internally to understand that they need to do the work. They need to put the actions in with the knowledge that they consume. So yeah, it's totally cool to read books. I got books here. I got books here. I take courses. I've invested thousands and thousands of dollars on mentorships and programs. Like, I've done all those things and it is good to do. But at the end of the day, the knowledge that you're consuming, I'm more so on the side of like I said, getting around the right people, getting in the right rooms, paying for masterminds, going to masterminds, getting around these people, and even listening to podcasts instead of like listening to like shit music on the daily basis. Like I love music. I'm a big music guy, but I had to kind of get rid of music that just kind of was like bring me down, bring my mood down, sad music, shit like that. I was just like, hey, like figure it out. If you're gonna listen to music, maybe listen to something that's gonna pump you a little bit more. But in regards to like knowledge, I would listen to like podcasts, right? You can get into like some really good podcasts like The Game by Alex Hermosi. There's another one called The Knowledge Project. This is really, really great business podcasts. And there's a ton of others out there. And just start listening and consuming to other founders, other entrepreneurs, and what they're doing, what they did to get to the successful level that they're at today, right? You need to be consuming that type of knowledge, right? That is the biggest thing is acquiring the knowledge that you can put into action, because again, you need to change who you are. You need to have a paradigm shift. Okay, when I went through Sam Ovens consulting accelerator program in week 2, it's all about mindset, right? And one of the biggest paradigm shifts was understanding when Sam, and I might misquote this story, but when Sam was on this like island with some billionaire, and the news came up, right? The news was on the TV, and the billionaire just got up and walked away, right? And Sam was curious, like, I'm wondering, why did he just randomly get up when the news started coming? Because there was like some catastrophe or some bullshit on the news, on the propaganda machine, and the billionaire just got up and left, right? Why is that? Well, Sam asked him, and he basically said that it's not conducive to what the knowledge that he's looking to consume into his life, into his beliefs, into his habits, into everything that he's doing, because what the type of knowledge that you can consume can shape your reality if you allow it to, right? So that's why there's a lot of people nowadays that have this like victim mentality where they think that everything's against them. They think that everything needs to change, not them. This needs to change, this needs to change, instead of actually them doing the work to get to where they need to be and separating themselves, like I said, from the environment, from the people, from the comfort of allowing all the shit to manifest in their life that they hear on the news and stuff like that, instead of actually just going out, tuning all of that shit out and consuming the right knowledge that's going to get you to where you want to be, right? Right people, right rooms, right knowledge that you're consuming. Now, I went to a couple masterminds within the last 6 months, and I was probably I'm pretty sure I was the youngest guy there. And I was, when you first go to these places, you feel a little bit kind of out of place because when you start talking to people, they're like doing like 7, 8 figures. Some guys doing 9 figures in their businesses collectively. They have a bunch of businesses, and you're like, what am I doing in this room? But then I got reminded at dinner one night when I was talking to this one business owner. He runs e-commerce stores, and he's got a bunch of stores, each of them doing around like 20 to 30K per month each. And he told me, he goes, you're here for a reason, right? You're here to learn, and you belong in this room. And to me, when I heard that, it was almost like this weight got lifted off my shoulders, where I was just like, you know what, I do belong here. And I reinforced that confirmation bias inside of my mind, where I was like, I do believe that I am meant to be here and continue to grow around these people, right? So what I wanted to do is I showcased a bunch of value. I made as many connections as I could. I shook a bunch of hands. I'd have dinner with these people, and it manifested into this really, really great relationships that I have with people, and it's been great ever since. And then I got invited back, and I was able to present our model to a room of people in order to provide a ton of value to them, and eventually go ahead and start working with some of these people as well. So this is what I'm talking about. When you get around the right people, you get the right knowledge, you reposition yourself in a better environment to succeed, right? You make yourself even a little bit uncomfortable, sorry, is the best word, uncomfortable in these rooms. You will start to see that you will be on a growth trajectory going like this. You're going up, right? It might go like this for a little bit, right? I've been here. It's just like, oh, okay, we're going up and down, but you are going in this direction. You're going up. Keep that in mind. Don't ever forget that. As long as you're doing the right things, if you feel like you're alone, if you feel like that this growth path is hard, it's supposed to be. It's supposed to feel lonely. It's supposed to feel like no one else understands you, because until you get yourself to a point where you now start attracting people into your life, you'll start to realize that you're on the right path, right? And that day will come. But make sure that you are changing who you are, and do not stay satisfied with who you are, right? It's a competitive game, it's a competitive world. Especially as a guy, you need to continue to level yourself up. Okay? Stick to the basics, right? Get good sleep, eat well, go to the fucking gym, stop being lazy, okay? Get in shape, start talking to people, develop your communication skills, your sales, persuasion skills, your marketing skills, all this stuff. Get really, really good. Fuck what people think. Don't care about what anybody's going to think about you, because they're not thinking about you anyways. They're too concerned about themselves. So you cannot fear people's opinions. You need to go out there and be the best version of yourself, because there's somebody that's looking for your advice, and there's somebody that's looking for your value, and you need to start showcasing that as soon as possible. So I hope this video was helpful for you. And if you liked it, leave a thumbs up, comment any questions down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.